JB here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. January 5th, 2024. Happy New Year. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Just going to get on here really quick. We are a little less than 2 hours before the close of the first week of 2024, and the S&P is down 5 straight days. And we are, it looks like it's going to be putting an end to the 9-week winning streak for the S&P. You have to think at some point there was going to be some consolidation or pullback. I put that on the watch list the last 2 days. It's not a fun thing when you're on call positions, right? You want the market to keep melting higher, but I'd rather see some consolidation here than some outsized moved to the upside, and then we have this big 1-2% pullback or even more than that. So we'll see what happens there. A couple things I want to talk about, and I put it, I put it on here already. So first, Altimmune. I'll talk about that in a second. But first, I'll talk about AXGN. So there's quite a few top 5 stocks I've done over the years. AXGN is a very interesting story. It was started by, I don't know if it was Princeton or some college class. And they're looking to fix nerve repair. So when you have all of a sudden you lose feeling in your hands or your arms because of some ailment or what have you, they're looking to be able to fix that. And that's a great thing, right? I mean, if you're trying to, if you're losing feelings in your fingers, you can't feel anymore, and they're able to come up with a solution that would fix that. That's a great solution. So I liked it back. I forget where. I don't know, it was 2017, 2016. Stock ran all the way up into the 40s, but then they had issues rolling out any kind of a sales program, working out with hospitals. They had horrible leadership, bad execution, and the stock just tumbled. So then yesterday, after the close, they announced preliminary earnings, revenues above expectations, CEO stepping down, new leadership's coming on board. I think that's a good thing. So I went and got some, I was looking at February's and I was looking at higher strikes, but I said, wow, the $10 calls look pretty good on a risk-reward basis. Maybe it sits flat here. I don't think that's going to be the case. The stock was under $4 back in October, but a lot of these names have been up quite a bit already over the last couple of months. So it's not anything different, but I think 12, 13, $14. So that's why I had those calls there. So that's AXGN. Take a look at ROKU. My thoughts on ROKU. Let's see if I have it up here. Got the calls yesterday, and I think Kathy Wood added some ROKU yesterday. But at some point, I think this is going to do one of those multi-day $10, $15, $20 rallies where it goes from, right now it's at 90, 76. It's going to be 105, 110 in the next coming days, because that's what it does. Very divisive name. There's people who think that the company there's no moat around their business. All these other competitors are going to come in and get them. At some point, the revenues are going to decline and things like that. But if you think the other side, this is, it's going to head substantially higher. So added some lottos yesterday, locked some in for a double. Then this morning, it gaps down. I didn't even think I was going to get an opportunity to close the rest of the calls in. It gets up here around 90, 70 or so. I locked the rest of my weekly strikes in. And, I think it heads into the hundreds next week. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. There's a lot of these headlines around streaming and content, and everybody's doing partnerships now because they realize they can't do it alone. So is it going to be HBO Max and Apple? Well, Apple Plus is the only content provider right now that does not have an ad substitution, right? So Disney Plus, Hulu. If you take a look at Disney Plus and Hulu, they're finally integrating. So at some point, it's just going to be Disney Plus or just Hulu Plus, whatever they're going to call it. They're going to call it Disney Plus. But a lot of the content that's on Hulu is now advertised on Disney Plus. But all these content providers are merging together because they realize, stronger as one, as opposed to a la carte situation where you're fighting against each other. And I just think this all plays into Roku, because Roku is just it's the platform. So people can be looking at all this content on the Roku platform. Roku's going to monetize it. So, and that's what they've been doing. So that's kind of my thought process, why I continue to look for opportunities to play Roku for upside. So I got some later dated strikes on Roku. I'll hold those into next week. The week after, I think, is a holiday shortened week right? I think MLK on Monday, so keep that in mind. That's Roku. Biogen, disappointing. Had the big move up on Tuesday, and then it gave it back. Wednesday, Thursday gave back almost all the gains, and then today down nearly 1%. I keep saying I think this is going to be the year of the bio. I think there's a recipe for success in the biotech space. We have lower rates. You have a lot of these large mega cap companies who have been sitting on cash for a while, waiting for valuations to come down, waiting for opportunities to get in and acquire some of these names. And I think, next couple of months, I think it's going to be a lot of acquisitions. So we'll see. Biogen's a name that's been beaten up. It was put on, I think it was Morgan Stanley. Well, RBC up there, price target of 379. I don't know if they put on their best list for 2024. But I just think, same with Gilead, similar situation. There's names I think tons of cash, kind of been, beaten up for a while, and I think those start to come back. So unfortunately, of course, I wish I could have added the Biogen calls today or yesterday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to average yet. I'll wait till next week. But I still think 5-6% could happen next week on Biogen. So you look at that. That's $15, puts it 275, and then maybe there's some catalyst or what have you. So I'll continue to hold those. I mean, what else to say about Weight Watchers? It's actually sitting here only down 4%. So yesterday you had LLY come out with I think it was on like NBC Today show or what have you. They were going to announce. They had some big announcement around supply for the GLP-1 drugs and their Zepbound product. And sure enough, what do? They come out and they have a LLY. I forget the name of the actual website, but they're creating a website to help people, and then to have to direct them to physicians and doctors and things like that, and then have a possible solution to ship to home. I'm like, what kind of? That's like a huge conflict of interest, right? So you're gonna be the gatekeeper of that patient, and then give them your drugs, right? I just don't get that. How you can have an unbiased opinion on a patient when you're at the website that prescribes their medication, right? So I don't get that, but unfortunately, you take a look at Weight Watchers, and Weight Watchers that's what they are. They're going to be a platform for health, and they same opportunity that they can offer prescriptions and things, but they won't have the ability to send drugs right to the person's home. So you can see it sold off. I was watching it yesterday, right at the open. I said, "What's going on?" Then you saw the news, and then I realized what was going on. And obviously, not a good thing. But I think there's plenty. It's a huge addressable market. I put it on my 2024 webinar. I think the market has enough opportunity for a lot of people in that space. And Weight Watchers has such an archaic brand name, not archaic, a name that sticks, that people, when they're looking to change behaviors and lose weight, they're going to go to them and realize that they're going to be able to offer them solutions, not only on the clinical side of medicine, but on the coaching side and things like that, support. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to add any calls. I put on watch this morning down here at December lows. I'll probably just hold on to what I have for now. So that's WW. So Altimmune, GPCR is the other one. Let's see if I can. Why is it not coming up here? Yeah, all right. Yeah, so GPCR is one of my top 5 stocks for 2024. I think it heads up into the 50s. I'm just going to hold right now. I still have Alt 15 and January 20s. Hopefully I'll get an opportunity to lock the rest of my 15s in and just hold the 20s. I'll look for some February strikes. VKTX has just been churning around here around the 18s. Hopefully that starts to get a bid. And then last, and I think, let's see if I have it up here. I don't. Oh, so STAA, right? So Star Surgical, multi-year lows. I still don't get it. There's huge activist interest in the name. Broadwood Capital, over a 20% stake in the company, added shares at 31 and change in November. They're talking about some opportunities in Asia where they think they can get their compounded annual growth rate for the next 3 years to 2026 up to 15 to 20%. If that's the case, it's severely undervalued. And it was 150, 160 back in 2020. I'm not saying it heads there, but I think maybe 40, 35, 40. So, I added strikes this week. I'll continue to look for opportunities to play that one for upside. And yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, the last couple of days have been tough. Take a look at names like Redfin. I had the Zillow calls, which paid out nicely over the last couple of weeks. Sold those out, went and got Redfin. I still think at some point Redfin heads higher, but a tough one this week. Chewy, another name, had locked in. I think it was 25 strikes. Went and got the higher data strikes with the profits. That's sitting here at 2075. At some point, that starts to head higher. SSYS is back over 14. It's one of my names that at some point it's going to be acquired. Who knows? Next 12 to 18 months. But that's back over 14, so that's looking good. Fiverr back over $26. I really like that name, especially over the next couple of weeks. And then here's the last one, Clear Secure, ticker YOU. If you've heard me talk about this one many times. Here's if you're looking for a name that's going to disrupt the wave, not disrupt, but going to be at the forefront of security at gaming events, at in the airports, travel, you name it. Clear, I think, is going to be one of those. And huge cash position, no debt, fundamentally sound, doing dividends, buybacks, and it's sitting here at $22, way off its highs. And you had Needham out yesterday saying it's their top pick for 2024, and they put a $40 price target. I mean, I would love to see it at $40, but I think that heads higher in the coming days and weeks. And similar to what I use ROKU as a great example for a lot of these names, because I think when you look at a name that's misunderstood, ROKU was the poster child for it, right? People didn't understand ROKU, and I think they look at Clear and they think the same thing. They are just a TSA offshoot, right? The TSA, there's no motor on their business because anybody can just set up a security platform at the airport. There's no motor on their business, where I think it's the complete opposite. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm not going to add anything more here on you yet. I'll probably wait to January expiration, but great story. And that's it. That's my rant. It'll be on I'll post on the blog in a little bit. Hope everybody has a great, Happy New Year to everybody, and hope everybody has a great weekend. Rock and roll.